You said love is just arrangement, like chords falling into place. Some are simple, some are twisted, some take years to learn to play. We sat down with two guitars. We sat down with two guitars. Floor lamp sharing yellow light. You said teach me one more voicing that can hold me through the night. Your fingers fumbled on the frets, strings buzzing in small protests. But the rhythm of your trying was the part I love the best. Living room bossa lessons, you and I with patient time. Every wrong note wrote a story, every flinch became a line. Living room bossa lessons, you said I will never learn. I said you are playing perfect every time your spirit turns. We spoke softly about exes, about parents, about pain, about the things that make us stiffen, about the things that make us stay. Each new chord unlocked a memory, each new shape unlocked a fear. We did not need therapy then, we just needed to be here. The percussion in my heartbeat, your smooth voice in minor key. We were tuning not our instruments, we were tuning you and me. Living room bossa lessons, we moved slowly, we were kind. You said when I press this finger, I can feel my father hide. Living room bossa lessons, we let silence do its work. Not every ache needs explanation, some just need a softer chord. Later when you played alone, I listened from the other room. Heard you find the perfect rhythm, heard you hum that same old tune. You did not know that I was crying while I washed the midnight plates, because inside your cracking voice I heard someone choosing grace. Living room bossa lessons, we will never be virtuoso, but our hearts can keep good tempo when the world becomes too prose. If one day our strings grow rusty, if our fingers lose their way, we will still sit on this carpet. Let the bossa start to play. Morning light across the kitchen, coffee steaming, quiet floors. You are humming in your sweater, barefoot drifting past my door. Old vinyl spinning, Jobim softly, rain still clinging to the glass. Every little ordinary moment feels too perfect not to last. But I know how days can vanish like sugar in a cup of tea. So I memorize your silhouette as you turn and smile at me. Slow coffee bossa in the morning, sunlight dancing on your skin. If the world is ending later, let it start when we begin. Slow coffee bossa in the morning, you and I and nothing more. If this is all that life will give me, I will still be asking for one more. joke about the plants still dying even when you give them names. I say they love you secretly, they are just bad at bossa games. You roll your eyes and steal my mug, sip the sweetness, leave the foam. Somehow in this tiny kitchen we have built a kind of home. The city rushes in the distance, but in here time moves slow. Nylon strings and gentle rhythm tell us all we need to know. Slow coffee bossa in the morning, curtains breathing in and out. If there is a God above us, this is what they dream about. Slow coffee bossa in the morning, no big plans and messy hair. If I lose the rest of everything, let me always wake up here. Maybe someday we grow older, voices softer, hair in gray. Will you still steal all my coffee? Will this song still wanna play? If the needles of our record scratch and stumble out of tune, I will still hear you in silence, like a bossa in the room. Slow coffee bossa in the morning, decades folded into one. Every sunrise, every heartbeat, same old us and brand new sun. Slow coffee bossa in the morning, write this on my final page. I was happiest in kitchens, sharing coffee with you and age. You walked in with fog still on your shoulders, London rain behind your eyes. Ordered black coffee, no sugar, like someone tired of disguise. The band was playing soft and lazy, bossa chords in smoky air. You sat down and checked your phone, but your heart was somewhere there. I was on the tiny stage, hiding secrets in my voice. Something in the way you listen made the next song change its choice. Midnight bossa by the river, city lights like drops of gold. I was singing for a stranger till your story took a hold. Midnight bossa by the river, you and I in borrowed time. Every note that left my mouth tried to hold your fold in mine. Smiled once between two verses, like a crack in heavy skies. Lifted up your glass in silence to a toast you could not write. I saw questions on your fingers, nervous tapping on the chair. I kept changing all the lyrics just to say I see you there. Bitter coffee, gentle rhythm, you stopped shaking for a while. Maybe it was just the music or the way you let it smile. Midnight bossa by the river, by the river, rain outside and warm inside. Two shipwrecks on different oceans, finding shelter for the night. When the bar turned on the bright lights and they told us it was late, you stood up and almost thanked me. Then you caught yourself and stayed. Play one more, you softly asked me. I will go when this is done. I played slow, so slow on purpose, so you tasted one more sun. Midnight bossa by the river, we did not exchange our names. You just left a folded napkin with a simple thanks for change. If you ever cross that doorway, if I am still singing there, I will play that song in minor, so you know I still care. Elevator doors in slow motion, 7th floor and nervous hearts. You were holding cardboard boxes, fragments of a life in parts. New neighbor, I asked too quickly. You said old story, brand new key. In your eyes a quiet hurricane, in your hands a history. The cables hummed a gentle rhythm, like a bossa under steel. Sometimes small talk in a hallway hides a universe of feels. Hallway bossa, soft and secret, between your suitcase and my door. Two apartments then dividing, but our silence knew much more. Hallway bossa, faded carpet, broken mailboxes that squeak. In the space of 30 seconds, you moved in and I felt seen. We laughed about the noisy plumbing and the flicker in the light. You said, I guess it is not perfect, but it might be good enough tonight. I offered help to lift the heaviest. You refused but stayed to talk. We discovered both our kitchens faced the same sad parking lot. Nylon strings and distant headphones, someone upstairs played too loud. It became our little soundtrack to not being part of the crowd. Hallway bossa, awkward, tender, holding boxes, holding breath. Two survivors changing addresses, trading tired jokes with death. Hallway bossa, echo footsteps, paint still peeling off the wall. I said, if you ever need sugar, I am right next door to call. Weeks went by with doors half open, good morning shared with sleepy eyes. Then one night your light stayed dark and the hallway felt too wide. I knocked soft and heard you crying, like a rhythm out of flows like flags and silver drums. You were balancing a basket, headphones on, lost in some song. I could hear a faint guitar line, syncopated, sweet and slow. You were folding faded t-shirts like they were your only home. Detergent scent and tired faces, hum of machines and lazy time. Your foot tapped a soft petita, my heart fell into that rhyme. Spin cycle bossa in the city, shirts and secrets going round. If love ever comes to find us, maybe this is where it sounds. Spin cycle bossa in fluorescent, quiet corners, midnight air. We were strangers sorting colors, but my future felt right there. You said I am bad at timing, always late, always behind. Held a sock without its partner, said this is my life in kind. I replied I lose my courage every time I start again. You laughed softly, then we matched like two socks among the spin. Our baskets leaned a bit together, tiny bridges, plastic white. Bossa humming from your playlist, turn that place to candlelight. Spin cycle bossa in the city, 12:30 on Sunday night. When the world is doing laundry, you can see who tries to hide. Spin cycle bossa, small romances between rinse and second spin. I was almost done with folding, then I hoped you would begin. When your cycle hit complete and the beeping cut the groove, you said I think they want us gone, but you did not make a move. So I asked you for the song name, for the artist, for the tune. You said I can share the playlist if we share a coffee soon. Spin cycle bossa in the city, now our clothes hang side by side. Sometimes love is not a thunder, just two people who arrive. If I ever lose your rhythm, if we drift beyond repair, I will still hear that laundromat and the music in your stare. You called me from a quiet airport, said the flight is 3 hours late. In your voice a tired laughter, in my chest a shifting weight. Can you stay and talk a little till they finally call my gate? I am not afraid of flying, I am afraid of what awaits. I put on our favorite record, soft bossa through my phone. Your goodbye had more percussion than the man announcing zones. Gate 17 bossa, you and I on borrowed time. Crowded chairs and faded carpets, but our voices intertwined. Gate 17 bossa, minor chords on speaker line. If I cannot hold your body, I will hold you in this rhyme. You describe the plastic palm trees, the sad sandwiches in line. I described our kitchen window, how the dusk was turning wine. We both laughed about the couple arguing in duty free. You said promise when you miss me, you will miss the worst of me. Baggage wheels and distant children, piano keys under my hand. In that moment miles between us felt as thin as rubber bands. Gate 17 bossa, I played softly while we spoke. You told me your secret nightmares, I told you where I still felt broke. Gate Gate 17, Bossa, last call on the overhead. You said keep the song still playing when this airport turns to bed. They were calling out your number. Final boarding, final chance. We both waited for the silence like a break in some slow dance. Then you whispered, save this record. Do not play it when I land. Keep it for the nights I am missing. Our small life in your small hands. Gate 17, Bossa, empty line and quiet phone. I just let the needle travel till the last note turned to snow. If the distance grows between us, if we lose what we have sung, I will still remember clearly how our goodbye sounded young. Pool was almost empty, tourists sleeping in their rooms. City glowing underneath us, like a circuit under moon. You were reading some old novel, feet still wet from quiet laps. I was nursing lime in silence, letting hours just collapse. Someone's speaker far below us played a bossa out of place, but that rhythm climbed the building till it wrapped around your face. Skyline bossa on a Tuesday, you and I above the streets. If the world burns down tomorrow, this is how I wanna think. Skyline bossa, clouds like pillows, airplanes drawing lazy lines. Every samba tinted whisper turned your shoulder into mine. You said I have always wanted to just leave and start brand new. Change my name and change my stories, be a stranger with a view. I said I have always wondered what would happen if we jump, not from here but from our habits, from the lives that feel too tight. The guitar below grew softer as if hearing what we said. Drums like heartbeats on the concrete, keeping count of fear and breath. Skyline bossa, distant thunderstorm, deciding where to go. We made promises in whispers that the future cannot know. Skyline bossa, half decisions, half illusions, half pure need. If we never change tomorrow, still tonight we both were free. When the first big drops of water hit the tiles and hit your book, you just laughed and let them soak it. Let the ink run like a brook. See, you said even my stories do not wanna stay the same. So we danced in broken English while the sky forgot our names. Skyline bossa in the rainfall, strobe lights on your silk shirt. We did not fix all our problems, but we washed some off the earth. If someday I see that building from a taxi down below, I will hear that rooftop bossa and the storm that let us glow. showed up at my old doorstep with a suitcase and a grin. Said it feels like every chapter wants to start and end with him. So I poured another coffee, found a blanket for your knees, put a bossa on the speaker, let the chords move like a breeze. You were talking, I was listening, but the rhythm did its part. Every broken, shaken sentence found a landing in my heart. Healing bossa in the kitchen, 2 a.m. and open eyes. You said I am done with dramas, but I still believe in light. Healing bossa in the kitchen, cracks in tiles and in your voice. Sometimes all we need for mending is a song and someone's choice. We made toast with too much butter, laughed at how it soaked the plate. You described the subtle violence of small lies that come too late. I confess my own disasters every time I looked away. How I always left the party just before I had to stay. The guitar made calm confession, soft percussion marked our fears. We were not some movie heroes, just two humans, volunteers. Healing bossa in the kitchen, fridge light on your tired face. You were not a lonely victim, you were brave enough to break. Healing bossa in the kitchen, we rewrote a few old scenes on the floor with dirty dishes. You remembered how to breathe. When the song reached its last cycle, you said, please don't press repeat. Let it fade like this old night and the ghost under my feet. So we sat inside the silence, no guitar and no refrain. Even there in empty spaces, I could hear you start again. Healing bossa in the kitchen, not a cure but honest air. If you ever think of giving up, remember how you sat right there. Music ended, life kept going, but the tempo changed its way. Now your heart knows one more rhythm, it can follow when you stay. Sunday market by the water, stalls of flowers, books and fruit. You were trying old sunglasses, making faces, being you. Someone on a plastic chair strummed a slightly out of tune Bossa Nova under palm trees, lazy perfect afternoon. You took my hand between two stalls, said, promise me you will recall days like this when we are older, when we forget we had it all. Sunday market bossa, peaches, lemons, vinyl dust. We were rich in nothing certain, but so wealthy in our trust. Sunday market bossa, paper bags and second hand. I would trade all fancy dinners for this fruit and for your hand. We picked out a crooked painting of some beach we did not know. You said let us hang it later, call it some imaginary home. I bought you a worn out record with no cover, just a name. You said if it sounds like summer, I don't care about the frame. Calling from the plastic table, coins and bottles keeping time. Even traffic in the distance joined our lazy little rhyme. Sunday market, bossa vendors calling out their deals. We had nothing in our pockets but 1,000 small ideas. Sunday market, bossa breeze that smelled like salty bread. Every choice was very simple: love each other, share this bed. Years from now, when we have mortgages and calendars too full, I will play that same cheap record till the colors turn to wool. Then I will take you to the kitchen, pour some juice in our old cups, move the table just an inch, and let that market reappear with us. Sunday market bossa, even when the stall is gone, lives forever in our hallway, in that painting we put on. If we ever feel we lost us or we cannot find our song, we will walk back through that morning and remember we belong. You always said that Paris was too loud inside your head. Too much memory in the river, too much ghost in every step. So instead we chose a small town where the trains come twice a day. Found a bar with dusty windows, bossa on an old cassette. We sat down at the only table that could see the street and sky. Ordered nothing but 2 coffees, shared the sugar, shared the time. Small town bossa in the corner, tiny speaker, gentle crack. You said I don't need big cities, I just need what I don't lack. Small town bossa, quiet comfort, simple chords and simple light. We were not escaping Paris, we were running toward this night. The bartender told us stories about couples who once came. Sat exactly where we sat now, left in silence, left in flames. He squeezed my hand below the table, said we will not be that play. If we ever feel like strangers, we will talk or walk away. The guitar line kept on weaving through his tales of love and war. Drums like footsteps on the cobblestone we had crossed to reach that door. Small town bossa in the corner, wine glasses catching gold. We were not some tragic heroes or a story to be told. Small town bossa, modest future, nothing fancy, nothing grand. Just 2 tickets to tomorrow and our fingers intertwined. to the pension, you began to hum the tune. I joined in on second chorus, like a promise said too soon. Maybe we will move again, maybe life will rearrange, but we will always have that evening as our proof that hearts can change. Small town bossa in the corner, tapestry of sound and chance. Every time we hear a nylon start to whisper, we will dance. And if someone asks us later why we never chase that fame, we will pour them 2 small coffees, say sit down, we will explain. You hate your birthday, always have. Too much pressure, too much noise. So we made a secret ritual, just the 2 of us, our choice. No surprise balloons or candles, no big crowd that feels not right. Only dim light in the living room, Bossa records, cake at night. You sat cross-legged on the carpet, ancient sweater, sleepy hair. Guitar and brushes in the speakers turn the room to somewhere rare. Birthday bossa in the shadows, you and I in softer time. We replace the happy shouting with a slow, forgiving rhyme. Birthday bossa, gentle aging, no big speech or heavy tears, just a quiet, small acceptance that we made it through the years. You read letters from your childhood, crumpled pages, shaky ink. Funny how I wanted everything you said, poured another drink. I confess the fear I carry of the days I cannot see. How I worry more of losing who you are than losing me. That old saxophone came floating through the window of our past. Bossa does not fight the wrinkle, just sits with it till it laughs. Birthday bossa in the shadow, ceiling dancing with the flame. We blew candles with no wishing, we were tired of that game. Birthday bossa, tender counting, not of failures or of wins, just of all the times we fell down and still got back up again. Then you turned and softly asked me, will you love me here as well? When my hands begin to tremble and my stories repeat themselves, I said, I will bring the records, bake the same cake every year. We will sit with all our versions till they learn to live right here. Birthday bossa in the shadows, aging like a favorite tune. Every year it sounds familiar, every year it sounds brand new. If the world forgets your number, writes you out of every list, I will still count you as blessing every time the candles hiss. We took the last bus to the ocean, blankets, records, cheap red wine. You said I need to hear the water, play percussion with my mind. Found a spot between two strangers, just close enough to feel alone. Small speaker in your old backpack started strumming nylon tones. Waves in tempo with the hi-hat, distant laughter, dogs and stars. Bossa got between our thoughts and turned them into soft guitars. Beach at midnight, bossa, salt and rhythm on our skin. We were broken in 1,000 ways and still ready to begin. Beach at midnight, bossa, tiny bonfires, chilly breeze. Every hurt we did not name yet found a way to sit at ease. You drew circles in the sand, said these are all the times I ran. Then you smoothed them out with one hand, said this is when I learned to stand. I wrote names with my fingertips, people I still dream at night. Let the tide erase them slowly, watch the meanings lose their bite. Somewhere further down the shoreline, someone sang in Portuguese. We did not know all the lyrics, but we knew what they could mean. Beach at midnight, bossa, moon's reflection playing bass. We were not completely healed yet, but we found a safer place. Beach at midnight, bossa, our confessions in the phone. We built nothing grand or solid, just a small and tender home. When the wind began to sharpen and the fire turned to coal, you wrapped a blanket round our shoulders, said this is what I want to hold. Not some future perfect version, not some movie, not some plan. Just this fragile breathing moment, just this complicated man. Beach at midnight, boss, the sun will rise and break the spell, but the chords will keep on living in the places we will dwell. If someday we drift to strangers, if we lose this easy tune, I will still be thankful for you. In that bossa in the moon. City subway, tired and crowded, morning rush in shades of gray. You were reading some old poetry, standing still while all moved away. Train wheels hummed a steady rhythm, like a drummer half asleep. Then I heard that faint guitar line from the earbuds in your seat. Synced my breath with your small head nod, guessing tempos, guessing songs. For a moment underground, I did not feel quite so wrong. Subway, bossa in Manhattan, lights that flicker, hearts that race. You and I, complete strangers, sharing one imagined place. Subway, bossa, swaying bodies, handles cold against my palm. In the noise and in the hurry, you were made of perfect calm. Someone pushed and cursed and grumbled, someone tried to sell their art. You just turned another page like a metronome for hearts. I lean closer just to hear it, the soft brushes, bass and strings. Suddenly this steel cage tunnel felt like beaches, birds and wings. You looked up and caught me listening, smiled as if you understood. Took one earbud from your own ear, put it in my world of wood. Subway bossa in Manhattan, we both nodded to the beat. We did not exchange our stories, we just shared 4 stops apiece. Subway bossa, nameless meeting, temporary, bright and small. Not all love is built on romance, some is just a gentle fall. At your station door slid open, you removed the little cord. Have a good day, you whispered softly, stepped onto the noisy floor. I kept listening through the static, through new voices, through new feet. Your song carried in my chest, through the rest of dirty streets. Subway bossa in Manhattan, every time the train complains, I will think of that small morning when we shared each other's reins. I do not know where you ended, if your day turned dark or light, but for 4 stops and a chorus, we both lived inside the tide. At the hotel lobby piano, you were playing just for you. Sheet music on a crooked stand, staff pretending not to look. I dropped bags and froze mid-step, heard a chord, both sad and bright. A bossa melody in winter, wearing summer in its spine. Suitcases rolled in strict 440, heels on marble, squeaking wheels. But your fingers took that chaos, turned it into something real. Lobby bossa, echo ceilings, artificial Christmas tree, travelers in all directions, but your song kept anchoring me. Lobby bossa, warm and lonely, fake fireplace that still felt true. In a world of check-in counters, you were playing something new. You stumbled on a tricky voicing, laughed and tried another way. I could see the tiny battle between ego and pure play. Then you saw me really listening, hesitated, lost your flow. I just nodded, mouth keep going, like a friend you did not know. Our 2 lives in separate languages, yet the rhythm understood. Guitar implied in your left hand, lazy drums in my own blood. Lobby bossa, cheap arrangements, plastic plants and quiet staff. Someone ordered room service to the tempo of your laugh. Lobby bossa, no ovation, no big stage or perfect sound, just a stranger and another, holding still while time went round. Later, waiting for the elevator, you stepped out with tired eyes. I said that song just saved my evening. Thank you for that small surprise. You replied, I only play here when my day has been too much. Keys remember how to hold me when I cannot stand my thoughts. Lobby bossa, gentle rescue, temporary sacred space. Every time I pass a piano, I will look for your embrace. If I never see you after, if our lives don't cross again, know your music changed my luggage from just way too sudden friend. You kept all your plants on the balcony. Tiny jungle in the sky. Said they make this concrete tower just a little more alive. Evenings you would spray them softly, talk to leaves in gentle tone. I would watch you through the window, from my sofa, from my storms. One night you put on some bossa, opened all the sliding doors. Music, water, wind and laughter flowed across the wooden floor. Balcony bossa in the sunset, terracotta, wine and green. You said life is just like this, half routine and half unseen. Balcony bossa, city breathing, cars below like distant rain. I could feel my chest expanding, making room for less of pain. You asked, do you ever worry that we are living life too small? I said small can be expensive if we choose to feel it all. You refilled the little watering can, spilled a bit on your bare feet. I stepped out to help you dry it, and the evening felt complete. Guitar picked up just a little, brushes under gave us lift. Every droplet on the railing caught the last of golden gift. Balcony bossa in the sunset, herbs and ivy, hope and doubt. We were speaking in soft sentences, letting big fears filter out. Balcony bossa, simple questions, will we make it, are we strong? You said, maybe there is no answer, maybe we just write the song. Then the neighbor from below us yelled, I love that record too. We both laughed and waved the can, water falling like a cue. Suddenly this cold apartment felt like somewhere we belong. 3 balconies and one rhythm, different lives, the same old song. Balcony bossa in the sunset, plants and strangers, you and me. If we ever move or break this, if we lose our little trees, I will still remember clearly how a cheap old bossa tune turned some rented, faded railing into our first private moon. I found your letters in the shoebox, under sweaters, under dust. Ink already turning yellow, words still shining like they must. I sat down beside the wardrobe, put a record on for sound. bossa seep into the bedroom while your story spun around. Every paragraph in 4/4, every margin full of dreams. The guitar kept gently swaying as your younger self would speak. Shoebox bossa in the bedroom, past and present hand in hand. You were 19, I am 30, meeting you where you began. Shoebox bossa, paper whisper, secrets no one else has seen. In the rhythm of your sentences, I can feel the in-between. You wrote lines about escaping, about trains you could not take, about someone who betrayed you, about all you could not say. Then you drew a tiny palm tree in the corner of the page. Said if I ever make it there, I will forgive my younger age. The percussion brushed like footsteps on a road not traveled yet. I could hear your own confusion as a syncopated thread. Shoebox bossa in the bedroom, tangled blankets, tangled time. You were scared of being nothing, I am scared of being blind. Shoebox bossa, gentle meeting with the ghost that you once were. I will kiss your present forehead and your old hand on that letter. You came in and caught me reading, saw the record slowly turn, froze a moment in the doorway, unsure if you should return. I just opened up my arms, held the letters to my chest, said I think I love you deeper, now I know you're older mess. Shoebox bossa in the bedroom, we lay down among the years. Music, paper, flesh and memory, mixed with laughter, mixed with tears. If you ever feel unworthy of the life you have today, we will open up that shoebox and let bossa guide the way. We met at language class on Tuesdays. You pronounce my name all wrong, I pronounce your city badly. We both laughed and carried on. Teacher played some quiet bossa when our brains were getting tired. Said music helps with conversation, and our eyes felt newly wired. Verbs and tenses on the whiteboard, adjectives that don't yet fit, but the rhythm underneath us made the silence feel like gift. Classroom bossa, chalk and papers, fluorescent lights and whispered notes. You and I were bad at grammar, but we spoke in softer tones. Classroom bossa, small exchanges, where you from and what you like. We were building tiny bridges over every wrong and right. You said I came here for study, not for love or fairy tales. I said I came here to change jobs, maybe also change myself. Then we practiced slow dialogues. Would you like to grab a drink? It was part of our assignment, but our cheeks began to pink. Nylon cords behind the teacher, soft percussion marking breaks. Even my poor conjugation suddenly felt like high stakes. Classroom bossa, nervous laughter, passing notes into new tongues. When we failed our oral test, we both blamed the bossa drums. Classroom bossa after hours, walking home in gentle rain. Every simple clumsy sentence stressed our feelings without name. Months went by and we got better, less mistakes and deeper talks. One night after class you asked me, can we skip the homework walk? Just come over, bring your records, we will practice listening there. If we mispronounce our futures, we will fix them in the air. Classroom bossa, chalk may vanish, desks and chairs will all be gone, but the music we were given turned two shy kids into song. If someday we move to cities where they do not know our sound, we will still be kind of fluent in the tone that we found. In the waiting room of heartache, doctor running 1 hour late. Magazines from last December, faces I don't wanna face. You were sitting by the window with a scarf around your fear. I was holding test results that I did not wanna hear. From a phone in someone's pocket came a tiny bossa line, soft and stubborn like a heartbeat that refuses to resign. Waiting room bossa, sterile walls and second hand. We were more than just our numbers, more than charts and shaky scans. Waiting room bossa, plastic chairs and minor key. We were both completely strangers, but the song made you see me. You said, I know this guitar part, my father played it every night. He would say, when life gets heavy, let the rhythm hold it tight. I replied, my mother used to hum this when the bills were due. She would dance while stirring dinner, like the floor could love her too. For a moment white fluorescent felt like golden evening sun. Bossa wrapped around the ivies, around everything undone. Waiting room bossa, we compared our quiet scars, not to see who had it harder, just to not feel quite so far. Waiting room bossa, when the nurse called out your name, you stood up then turned and whispered, play this record when it rained. Later when they called me in, I was less afraid to know, because someone else was shaking hands, had just told me I could grow. Maybe we will not cross paths in this lifetime once again, but the bossa and your story live together in my veins. Waiting room bossa, Every time I hear that track, I will send you quiet courage through the chords that call you back. If you hear some distant guitar in a hallway in a dream, it might just be all our waiting turning into softer scenes. You painted waves on all your walls, though you had never seen the sea. Said I like the idea of distance, even if it frightens me. So I brought over my records, all the ocean bossa tunes. Told you close your eyes and listen, we will swim here in this room. Echo of the nylon trickle brushes like the turning tide. Couch became our little shoreline, carpet grains like grains of time. Bedroom ocean bossa, you and I in painted blue. If the real waves never find us, let these songs still carry you. Bedroom ocean bossa, no salt water, no real sand, but your breathing changed its pattern when the chorus took your hand. You confessed your hidden terror of the things you cannot hold, of big spaces, big emotions, of the depths that feel too cold. I confess my old obsession with control and with dry land, how I hold my feelings tightly like a closed and aching hand. Then the saxophone came floating, soft and tender, almost shy. We both lay there on our backs, letting fear just pass us by. Bedroom ocean bossa, every note a little wave. One by one they wash the edges of the things we could not say. Bedroom ocean bossa, we were shipwrecks and we knew, but sometimes two broken vessels make a harbor strong and true. Months from now we may be standing by a real and living shore, feet in water, hair in chaos, matching breath with something more. You might smile and gently tell me this is not as hard as dreams, and I will answer we rehearsed here with that record and those leans. Bedroom ocean bossa till we see the real one day. You can still turn on the player, let the waves come anyway. If we never leave this city, if we never touch that foam, let the music be our shoreline, let this room become our home. Our favorite cafe closed forever, handwritten sign upon the glass. Thank you for these many years, ink still wet on final thanks. Inside chairs already stacked, coffee smells still in the air. I press my face against the window, saw our ghost still sitting there. I went home and found the playlist that they use most every day. Press play on the first track softly, let the bossa lead the way. Goodbye Café Bossa, you and I in different chairs. We will drink our future coffees, but our hearts will still be there. Goodbye Café Bossa, foam and laughter, crumbs and light. That small corner of the city held the sweetest of our fights. We had met there after classes, shared one muffin, two big fears. Later after job rejections, we spilled anger, we spilled tears. We had whispered crazy plans there, we had almost broken up. Every chapter of our friendship had at least one empty cup. Every chorus of those records lined up with some scene we knew. Now the music moved to our place, but the feeling stayed as true. Goodbye Café Bossa, we replay it at our own table. Our apartment smells like coffee, even when we can't afford the label. Goodbye Café Bossa, no more workers, no more line. But we learned to brew our mornings, turn our kitchen into shrine. Maybe one day we will open some small place with honest chairs. We will serve the cheapest coffee, but give everyone our care. We will hang a little speaker, play the same familiar list. If someone leans against our window, we will hope they won't be missed. Goodbye Café Bossa, what we lost we also gained. Now our memories don't have rent, they just live inside our veins. If that street feels cold and empty, we will walk it hand in hand, knowing we can carry spaces through a song and through this band.